Ian Machado Garry faces Carlos Prates this weekend at UFC Fight Night in Kansas City. I'm very, very excited for this main event. I think it's a fantastic fight. When this fight was put together, I thought it was much better than Prates versus Geoff Neal, or Jeff Neal, whatever you want to call him. Look, I'm going to go with Ian Garry. I'm just going to get straight into it. We're going to get down to the facts. You guys can click off now, because I know a lot of you don't like Ian Garry. I think he wins. He's been going on about how he's got a lot more venom in him this camp. You know, he wants to come out here and make a statement. I think he's going to come out here and grapple. That's my thought. You know, the language he's been using in the build-up to this fight is a lot very much of, oh, I'm going to manhandle him. I'm going to maul him. I'm going to take him into deep water. Like we've seen Ian Garry do this. You know, he knows how dangerous matchups are. I'm going to take him down. You know, because I know I'm just going to be better than him here. I'm going to be, you know, it's just how he is. I want him to come out here, and if he does manhandle him, I want him in the post-fight press conference, in the speech after the fight, to say how well-rounded he is, how he can do it all, how dangerous he is. I want him to come out here and look elite. Ideally, Carlos Prates. He is fucking amazing. He's one of the fighting nerds. He's 4-0 in the UFC. He's on a 10-fight KO streak. This is such a dangerous fight for Ian Garry, and I don't want to sit here and just glaze Ian Garry, but he took another fight on short notice, down the rankings, a very dangerous fight. However, if you're good to the UFC will reward you, and obviously he'll be getting a 25,000 bonus for being in a main event. He'll be getting, you know, a bit of compensation, I'd imagine, for taking this one on short notice. But he loves to fight. He's a fighter. This is how it should be. This is our sport. This is what we should be doing. Sorry. Look, my one question here is, can Ian Garry take him down? He can. Can he close the distance without being clipped? We'll see. If Ian Garry is clipped, will he be knocked out? Probably. So it's one of these weird ones. It's like, do you trust the aura of Prates to go out here and bully this man and be a meaner, more venomous fighter? Or do you trust Ian Garry's ability to just get the win? I'm going with Ian Garry. I think he is more well-rounded. He doesn't mind taking the fight to the ground and stalling positions. He wants to win, right? And obviously he lost his last fight. He wants to make a statement this time. He wants to come out here with venom. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will look good. Ian Garry is one of these guys that has very, very close fights with people that he shouldn't have close fights with. And I was just on the phone to Stan. You guys know Stan. Just on the phone to Stan. Obviously, we were talking about fights. And we were talking about, you know, Jean Silva, all these guys. And I said, there's some fighters who, in a way, look worse against worse opponents because there's nothing much on the line, you know? They're not rising to an occasion. They're not taking their rightful place in the limelight of the aura, in a weird way. So I think Ian Garry is one of these guys where he will look better against the best in the world because he's rising to an occasion, he's turning up. And I think this is a huge platform for him, and I think against Darren Weeks, people like this, he doesn't look that great because he kind of just matches their pace, matches their level, and he's phenomenal. He looks better than them, but there's an aura you get where you rise to an occasion, and I want to see if he's able to do this. I know the fighting nerds are. Prates is able to, he's done it many times before. However, can Ian Garry get him down, and will Ian Garry take him down? I'm sure he will. Just the language Ian Garry's been using in the build-up, I'm going to manhandle him, I'm going to maul him, you know. I'm going to dominate him, you know. When you're against a great striker, going out and saying, oh, I'm going to dominate him, is that on the feet? I doubt it. So, here's the official prediction. I'm going to say Ian Garry's second round finish. I was originally thinking if this goes to rounds 3, 4, 5, Garry will get it done. Garry matches people's paces far too much though, so I wasn't really trusting Ian Garry's finishing instinct. I can see Ian Garry getting him down against the cage and just landing a few shots of ground and pound, showing venom. Ian Garry is so much more dangerous when he's not afraid of being hit. Against Song Kenan, he bullied him. Against Daniel Rodriguez, he finished him in a round because he just wasn't really afraid of anything dangerous coming back. Where you see him against Jeff Neal, scooting around, just not engaging. Against Shavkat, just knee stomps and moving, and he's got a very short reach with his hands, you know. So I always worry about him in terms of there's not enough venom in you. You're not like, I don't know. There wasn't that like bah, 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 unless he knows the opponent's compromised. That's where I worry about finishing instinct. You know, if he's very smart, however, at the top level, come on, man, you throw a bit more venom, please, will you? I think Ian Garry will get him down against the cage. I can see Ian Garry being cracked, grabbing double unders, and then trying to drag him straight down, not having success, trying again, eventually getting him down, looking for submissions, fishing for underhooks, maybe taking the back. I can just see Ian Garry doing a little bit more than Prates, not maybe a bit patient on the feet. I could be wrong though. Ian Garry could come out here and school him on the feet. I just think to show domination, to show you're well-rounded, go out here and grapple this man. You've been training with Damian Maia, Charles Oliveira, in Shoot to Box in Brazil. You have this grappling accolade behind you now, and it's time to now put this in the limelight. I also think it's a much safer idea. Try go out there and grapple early, take some steam out of Prates, slow him down in those last rounds, and then strike with him a little bit. Pick up some rounds. Just get the experience being in there. I think Ian Garry wins. I think he wins every round, to be 100% honest with you. I think he's going to do more this time. Prates' gas tank hasn't been tested. I just think Gary's less worn and torn. You know, Prates has lost 6 times in MMA. He's had a load of Muay Thai fights. He's taken a load of damage in his career. I just feel like, yes, it's the fighting nerds. However, the aura of Prates, when it comes against the aura of Ian Garry, Prates has more aura. He's like, well, this guy's on a 10-fight knockout streak. Ian Garry gets it done, guys. I'm sure he does. He's a phenomenal, talented athlete, obsessed with growth, obsessed with bettering his ability, locked in, knows what he needs to do. He's taking this fight because he knows he can get it done. And I 100% think Ian Garry goes out. I'm going to say submission in the second round. I can see an arm triangle. I'm going to go Ian Garry by arm triangle choke. You know, he's got very short arms for his height, so he's going to be little stocky, strong arms, just maybe from half guard over the top, maybe a Von Flue sort of choke types. I'm seeing something like that, something like, and Ian Garry's like, oh look, I got my submission win, and you know, he's happy now. And Prates could catch him. Prates is phenomenal, and Ian Garry is phenomenal. They're both very talented. Ian Garry is a bit better off the back foot. However, I don't see Ian Garry pushing him forward. I see Ian Garry holding him against the cage, kneeing him a little bit, winning rounds, taking him down and submitting him, doing some damage. I can see him cutting open Prates. I see Ian Garry being how he normally is. He doesn't get hit too much, but I think he might get countered off of leg kicks. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this fight can go. I'm going to pick Ian Machado Garry though by finishing the second or third round by submission. I think it's kind of like the general consensus is Ian Garry by grappling him. Ian Garry wants to come out here and show how much he's improved and how well-rounded he is. He's taking it on short notice, but he's a fight. I have faith in him. I do have faith. I feel like if Prates is going to get this one done, it would be fantastic for his career. However, he has to go through Ian Machado Garry. He has to go through Ireland and Brazil. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. The first one of the fighting nerds to lose. What do you guys think? Prates is a savage, though. Prates is a mean, horrible, grimy little savage, and I can see Ian Garry getting it done. Subscribe, folks.